Hello, thank you for the opportunity and honor to read your toes in this Astro Toe reading. So, the left foot is internal, it's how you experience yourself and your connection with Source. And the right foot is outside of you, how others experience you and how you move through the world. And then each of the toes has a specific energy. The left big toe is your spirit path, right big toe is life path. And then the other energies are communication and expression on both feet, just internally or externally directed, action, relationships, and trust and prosperity. So when I look at your toes, the very first thing that I observe is actually what you've got going on here with your life path toe. So there's clearly something going on with this life path toe where you've got some ingrown toenail stuff here, this brokenness, and just a generally unhealthy nail. Additionally, this toe is leaning just a little bit, as you can see. For contrast, your spirit path toe, like you're right on your spirit path. Whatever you're doing in your spirit path, keep doing it. It's nice and straight. There's not a protrusion here. It's open, so you've got this channel of intuition. Your toenail is healthy and straightforward. You've got some groundedness. So this toe, like if there's such thing as an ideal toe, this is pretty close to that ideal toe. So your spirit path, you are on. Your life path is having some challenging energy right now. So we're going to jump over here to your chart and just have a look at what is happening in your life path. So there's a couple of places that we're going to look here. One place that we're going to look is your midheaven here. Your 10th house cusp is in Leo. So are you hiding in some way? Are you waiting until you've got all your ducks in a row? Are you holding back in some way to keep you from shining in the spotlight, from being seen, from being really the queen of whatever arena your career is in? So what's holding you back? That's one question. The other one is are you having fun? Is what you're doing in your life path hurting your soul, or is it supporting your soul? When we look over here at your moon is in Sagittarius. So you need to be learning and educating people. This is a high value to you. And you also need to be taking action as a fire sign. Sagittarius wants to take action, wants to move forward. And it might sometimes challenge your Taurus sun, who is a lot more stable and practical. Sagittarius moon can come up with some pretty wild ideas. Then you've got your Venus over here in Gemini. So, you could come up with some pretty wild ideas. And your Taurus sun might say, oh, well, that won't work. That's not practical. No, that's a dumb idea. But you've got this beautiful groundedness that we see in your toes, where they're close to the ground. I'm going back here to your spirit path toe here. So you have this groundedness, and yet you've got your Mercury here in the fire sign of Aries. You have your moon here in the fire sign of Sagittarius. You have your midheaven here in the fire sign of Leo. So when it comes to this life path, there's some action, some innovation, and just that taking action and moving forward, doing something and not getting stuck in the details is going to really help this. Beauty. I know that beauty is really important to you. So being seen as an authority in something having to do with beauty and just releasing any expectations of how that has to look, because that's one of the things with beauty is that, you sometimes beauty is just spontaneous and it just happens. And sometimes beauty is something that requires some cultivation and some nourishing. And so this cultivation, this nourishment is going to satisfy both that beautiful Taurus sun as well as this way that you want to take action. I highly recommend using like some oil that has essential oils in it. I'm feeling something spicy. So you'd want this well diluted, but some cinnamon. Yeah, some cinnamon or some cinnamon bark would be very good to dilute with oil so it's not, like causing any burning sensation, but just using that fire to rub over the top of this nail. Meanwhile, pushing outward from this point here on the top of your toe while supporting here. So it becomes, if these two fingers are here and these two fingers are up here, just doing this kind of a motion, asking the energy to track straight to show you the path for your life path. Now, we just talked a lot about action, so I'm going to skip these second toes, and I'm going to go to the third toes, and I'll come back to the second toes in a bit. These third toes are your action toes. So this is action for and directed towards self. This is action out in the world. I think based on these toes, you've got a very flexible toe here, but you've got this pointy little nail, and then this one is a little bit rounder. So the way that you want to take action really is in this very Taurian way. Moving forward in this slower, more graceful way than we might think of as a fire sign, but you're ready to go. You are ready to go. So leaning into this action toe here that you can see is a little bit bent towards the future. And so massaging this toe and asking questions like, what's my next action? Also, because this is so flexible and because you do have your Mars in Sagittarius, just a second, did I get that right? Your Mars is in Capricorn. So Mars is in Capricorn and your moon is in Sagittarius. So having a capability partner outside of you is going to help you take action. And that can look like working with someone, or that can look like, hey, we're both working on our things. Let's follow up with each other once a week and just see if we have taken the actions that we said. And then that's going to really satisfy that Mars in Capricorn, because if you say, I'm going to do this, and this week, this is what I commit to doing, and you've got a capability partner out there that's going to hold you to that, and that your job is also to hold them to theirs, I think that something like that is going to be really beneficial for you. So as you rub this toe and ask what your next best actions are, also call in who is your capability partner, who is the person that for right now is going to help you in this life path. Daily ritual is also important as part of this life path. So honoring those daily rituals, and please consider having one of your daily rituals be to just rub these toes with the intention of aligning the energies. Action with yourself. You've got a higher connection point here between these two toes, which indicates that these two toes, they need your action and your communication must be aligned. And so what are you knowing or saying that is important to do? Oh, interesting. When I yawn or sneeze or clear my throat during these readings, it's indicating energy is moving, energy is releasing. So that's beautiful. That that some of that is already moving for you. And I really do recommend taking another picture in a month after incorporating these practices. I think you're going to see a big difference. Okay, so I would also gently invite these toes to align more, to be closer together. Because when we are not in alignment with our words and our actions, sometimes that can be like this huge thing where there's a lack of integrity, and that is not the case with you. It's more that sometimes you are saying or expressing things to yourself and then maybe not following through, or judging yourself for the way that you do follow through. So just inviting a greater alignment with words to yourself and actions for yourself. You notice there is a space here, but it's not as big as the space here. And this is another reason why having a capability partner could be super beneficial for you. And when we look at your Venus over here in Gemini in the 7th house, partnership, collaboration, relationships of equality, those are all things that are important to you and are going to really help you. You've also got your part of fortune here in the 8th house. So when we look at that in the sign of Gemini, you're here to transform beauty. You're here to give birth to beauty, and using your brain, using your intellect, using your ability to communicate. You've got Mars here in the 3rd house, and then you have Venus, Chiron, and the part of fortune all in Gemini that rules the 3rd house. So how are you communicating? That's a big thing, is how you communicate. When we look at your toes, your communication with self is pretty on. These toes are very parallel. Your communication with others, I think you sometimes judge yourself for it or wonder how you're going to share your message. Relationships. Okay, so in these toes, we see quite a contrast. We see in your left toes, it's pointing down a little bit, just indicating that sometimes as you're moving through life, you feel like you get in your own way or you get stuck in some things. And so gently releasing that energy, rubbing that toe to release that energy, anything that's blocking you, any patterns that are repeating patterns that aren't really serving you. This is all going to be super beneficial for you in this toe. And just as you massage that toe gently and do whatever feels good on that, asking yourself questions like, where do I self-sabotage? Where do I get stuck, and what patterns is it time to release? You've got this flexibility in this toe. You're mutable. You can weave, you can move through, you can adapt. And that's a beautiful thing that really can help relationships. And sometimes we're so adaptable that we don't realize the dysfunction of a relationship until it's so dysfunctional that we can no longer adapt within it. And so asking yourself, where are you adapting? All right, here's something that's coming into my mind. In Carolyn Miss's work, there are survival archetypes that every single person has, and one of them is the prostitute. And the prostitute can be our greatest ally, because the prostitute warns us when we're going to sell ourselves short for security. The shadow side of the prostitute is selling ourselves, compromising ourselves, being out of alignment with ourselves in exchange for security. And then the light side of the prostitute is letting us be aware of and being our ally in not selling ourselves short for security. So just lean into that archetype a little bit, and I'm feeling that energetically for you. So lean into that a little bit in your relationships, in your with others. Now let's look. These were the other two toes that really came very much forward in addition to this life path toe. And that's these, your trust and prosperity toes. here on the last toe. So you do have blocked energy, and they are both very much turned to the future. So I would invite you to gently twist these toes so that they're aligning more straight, and also massaging this place here where you've got blocked energy, feeling blocked in your ability to attract prosperity to you. And it's time to transform that. I'm thinking of your part of fortune in your 8th house. It's time to transform that. How do you want to bring prosperity to you? Really get clear about what that looks like, and then be flexible in how it shows up for you. With the part of fortune in your 8th house, this can also indicate that your fortune does come to you through your business or through other people's money. The 8th house represents other people's money. So what does that look like? Could that be a business partnership, a romantic partnership, partnering with a larger company in your work? Being an intrapreneur and an entrepreneur. And definitely using your mind, because it's in Gemini. So think on that. Ask, as you massage these toes, just ask for the brilliant downloads to come into you. And as you release this blocked energy, you're going to get more great ideas about how this can work for you. When we look at a couple of other things here, you are here to dig into yourself, into your subconscious mind, and release old patterns, release stuff that you came in with generationally, as well as past life stuff. You're going to attract people to you that are a lot like you in this Taurus, who desire beauty, who desire peace, who desire a practical approach. Yeah. And then being direct and to the point in your communication. Just being direct and to the point. Using some of your sexual energy in a creative way, as well as that sensuality, that sensualness in the way that you are showing up. These are natural gifts that you have. You do need a structure, and structure may be something that you struggle with. So having a structure, having a daily routine, having days of the week or month where you do certain activities. And you're here to transform. You are here to transform and be seen. So how does that feel, knowing those things as you massage the energy in these little toes? Just lean into that. And I do feel like if you do all of these things and you take a picture of your toes, if you took a picture of your toes in another month, you would see some strong shifts happening. If you only have time for one thing in your day, make it this life path toe. Make it this life path toe. And remind me to give you some of my magical salve. That'll make a big difference too. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to read your toes. I hope you got a lot of great information from that.